Hello everybody, Izzy here. This is part 18 in my Experiencing Dark Souls 3 series. I recorded this video game footage several weeks ago, and I'm going back over it now to talk about my experience with Dark Souls 3. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a particular phenomenon in the Dark Souls series, and that is when you're fighting a boss and you bring him down to where he has a sliver of hit points and then you die. It's highly probable that every Dark Souls player will face this, and I think it's fascinating to look at, and it mirrors life in certain ways. So I'd like to delve deeper into that. One of my favorite movies, the 2006 Apocalypto, deeply shows the feelings that can come from almost beating a boss. In the movie, there were warring tribes. It was set in the time of the Mayans, and one of the tribes was a peaceful tribe, and the evil tribe came to attack their village and kill the ones that they didn't want and take the other ones as slaves. One of the main characters of the peaceful tribe was a male, and when they came to kill off the tribe and abduct part of them, he went toe-to-toe with one of the main villains from the evil tribe, and he had almost killed the evil villain, but because they were so outnumbered by the evil tribe, others came and interjected and stopped the strong, heroic one from killing the nasty one. And then once they had him all tied up, and the rest of the members of the tribe all tied up, the villain mocked the hero and told him that he was naming him Almost because he almost killed him. But almost wasn't good enough. This movie relates to the Dark Souls games and your almost victories and the frustrations that come from that. And the movie shows how life tests you in the same ways as the game, except in real life you can often tenfold the intensity of the feeling. But these games can teach you and prepare you for those moments in life. I'll speak about this more in depth in a few minutes. First, I want to show you some of my almost victories in these boss fights.
You ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power of my beloved Ocelot, child of dragons. Well, I will not give him up, for he is all that I have.
Just the little bit of writing that they do, like what just came out of that boss's mouth about you ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Just that, if paid attention to and applied to life, can really teach you a lot.
Dear little Ocelot, where have you gone? Are you hiding from me? Come out. Come out. Don't be afraid. You were born a child of dragons. What could you possibly fear? Now, show yourself, Ocelot. My dear little Ocelot.
Just in his last few sentences during the cinematic and this fight, he touched upon indoctrination, ignorance, and fear with just a few choice words. This was my first attempt with this particular boss. I really love the majesticness of him. So beautiful. Such few but meaningful words. One of my favorite things is when somebody, or something in this case, says something immensely powerful in a very short amount of time, with just a couple words. Okay, now if you watch the boss's hit points, you can see how low I have them down. And my hit points are pretty much full, so I thought I had this fight in the bag.
Ignorant slaves, how quickly you forget.
But, as he reminds me, I'm an ignorant slave that quickly forgets. Here is the end of my second fight with him. His hit points are low, and my hit points and my NPC hit points are still high. Now watch as he kills me.
How quickly you forget.
His hit points continue to go down, like the NPC would have killed him in seconds if I would have just survived a little bit longer. That was crazy. This was my third fight with him, and I beat him on this try. When I finally got this victory, I felt such a relief. I'm sure you can relate if you've played these games. I think one of the things that causes so much frustration is that often the path from the bonfire to the boss is riddled with tough enemies. And when you're looking at the boss, when you have his hit points dwindled down and he's almost dead, and then he kills you, you know that you have to trudge through a dozen or 24 enemies again. You end up having this internal groan where you almost feel like you want to give up often, especially after this pattern has repeated a bunch of times. Or often the adrenaline can be quite pleasurable, after you've had a bunch of deaths, or you're in a really intense fight, and you feel that angst. Your body starts kind of vibrating. You're hyper aware. I worship and get addicted to the range of emotions I go through during these high intensity battles. Whether it be the anger, or all of a sudden I get a lusty urge, or saddened. Just all the emotions. They're endless, and I always love it. It feels amazing. Here I found a secret door. I was playing blind, and whenever I come across a secret door like this, it's really thrilling, and it makes me appreciate it so much. This whole new area was absolutely gorgeous. These games are such a thrill ride in so many ways. The hero in the Apocalypto movie, after being captured, had to get enough resolve and determination to overcome the more powerful evil tribe. And that took a lot of frustration, a lot of pain. He had to learn how to control his anger. He had to accept the things that he couldn't change. He had to have patience. And the Dark Souls games teach you all of these traits and more. Some people get so angry that they throw the controller. If you do that when you're in a real life situation, you get angry at someone, so maybe you throw a punch instead of the controller. Next thing you know, you're in jail for assault. So, you can learn from these games. You can learn how to control your anger. You can learn how to do so many things. It really tests your sanity. They bring up so many emotions of anger and lust and angst. You can feel beaten down and sad. And it's good when somebody can pull through these emotions, when somebody can overcome them. Some people say video games are negative, but if you actually just pay attention even a little bit to what you can learn from them, you know they can be the greatest teachers. And the Dark Souls games are premium for that. They should list the games as a life coach and sell them that way. The boss coming up, like the previous one, had a number of fairly difficult enemies to trudge through to make it back to the boss arena after a death. And that caused a deep range of emotions for me again. And that's just one of the aspects of why I get so addicted to these games. This was my first attempt on this boss. And everything is going really smooth so far. He got in a few hits, but I was able to retreat and heal. I again thought I had him on the first try. I basically did have him until this hilariousness happened. And I fell off the edge. So here again is the end of my second attempt on this champion. And each time is one of those almost victories that I just live for. And the boss is almost dead, but he killed me first. This was my third and final fight with him. I again prevailed on the third try. When you look at all these reasons that I've listed in this video of what makes Dark Souls great, you can see why these games have such a cult following. Everybody likes to feel that amazing. Alright everybody, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, bye.